Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Delana, and today I want to talk about the shitstorm that's going on at the Trump administration right now. It is facing the biggest internal crisis since taking office, and it all centers around the Jeffrey Epstein files. Dan Bongino, the FBI deputy director and one of Trump's most loyal supporters, is reportedly on the verge of resignation. FBI Director Kash Patel is allegedly considering joining him, and at the center of this whole shitstorm is Attorney General Pam Bondi, who may have lied to the American people about having Epstein's client list. But here's what's really significant. Major MAGA voices like Alex Jones are demanding the truth, even if it destroys the movement. Jones literally broke down in tears on camera, saying the administration is participating in a cover-up. This could be the moment that defines Trump's second presidency. Stay with me as I deep dive into this explosive story that mainstream media is just trying to bury. The whole week, all the mainstream, especially all the right-wing stations like the Fox and stuff, just touch the surface. They're all looking the other way. The only ones that are talking about this whole thing right now are those that are independent on podcasting, YouTube, which I find is very interesting. I think that mainstream media, especially the left-wing mainstream media, is just trying to stay on the good graces of Donald Trump, but I think the people aren't buying it. And if anything, I think that's going to be even more of a grave to dig for the mainstream media, because that's what people are talking about and that's what people want answers from. Not that there's not other shit going on in the world right now, but I think the mainstream media is just trying to scoot over this, and I don't think Trump wants that, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Since this bombshell broke just hours before, multiple sources from NBC, CNN, and ABC News, FBI Director Dan Bongino is considering resignation after what has been described as a heated confrontation with Attorney General Pam Bondi. And here's what we do know. On Wednesday, there was an explosive meeting at the White House. Present was Bongino, Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. The meeting reportedly turned ugly when Bongino and Patel were confronted about whether they were behind the news stories claiming the FBI wanted to release more information about Epstein, but were being blocked by the DOJ. Sources tell us that Bongino was out of control furious after his meeting. He didn't show up to work on Friday, leading many FBI staffers to believe he had already quit. One source close to Bongino reportedly said, "He ain't coming back." But why is this so significant? Dan Bongino isn't any government employee. He's a former Secret Service agent who protected Presidents Bush and Obama. He ran for Senate and Congress multiple times. He had one of the most popular podcasts in all of America, and taking this job was actually taking a huge pay cut. This is a man who gave up a lucrative media career to serve in the Trump administration. For him to be considering resignation over this issue tells us just how serious this conflict has become. Another source told reporters that Bongino will come back if Bondi is held accountable. In other words, this appears to be an ultimatum. Either Bondi goes or Bongino goes. Now, what about FBI Director Kash Patel? Reports suggest that Patel is also frustrated with Bondi's handling of the Epstein files. Remember, Patel was a fierce critic of the FBI before becoming its director. He once said he would close FBI headquarters on day one and turn it into a museum of the deep state. Patel and Bongino have been privately expressing frustration for months over the DOJ's handling of the Epstein case. According to sources, this stems partly from an earlier interview where Bondi implied the FBI was still reviewing the case when it had already been turned over to the Justice Department. But here's what's really explosive. According to multiple sources, if Bongino leaves, Patel is considering following out the door. Think about what that would mean. Both the FBI director and deputy director resigning over the same issue within months of taking office. One source close to DOJ told reporter Mary Margaret Olin, Kash Patel almost wants Pam Bondi gone. And he'd also consider leaving if Bongino leaves, and that there are more frustrations with other documents Bondi hasn't released. This isn't just about Epstein. This appears to be a broader spectrum of what these officials see as mismanagement and broken promises by the Attorney General. Patel came into this job with a mandate to reform the FBI and restore political trust. He's been making significant changes, transferring 1,500 people out of DC headquarters, restructuring field operations, promising transparency on major cases, For him to potentially walk away suggests he believes Bondi is undermining his reform agenda. And let's talk about the woman at the center of this firestorm, Attorney General Pam Bondi. And folks, what I'm about to show you raises serious questions about whether she's being truthful with the American people. Back in February, during a Fox interview, Bondi was asked directly about Jeffrey's client list. Her response was unequivocal. It's sitting on my desk right now to review. So, and I have that photo or that exchange.
Releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So have you seen anything that you said, oh my gosh?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, we'll check back with you.
Wow. So, like, even in this cartoon, I really don't think that, I don't think it's Patel or Bongino that is the issue here. I really, truly think that is Pam Bondi is the issue. You know, the statement that this statement was shared across social media. MAGA influencers celebrated the Trump administration, even promoted it. Bondi herself never, ever corrected it for months. And now she's kind of backtracking and saying, oh, I didn't say I didn't have the list. I said I had the files. But then this Monday, the DOJ and FBI released a joint memo stating there is no client list. They claim their exhaustive review found no credible evidence that Epstein kept such a list or is blackmailing prominent individuals. When confronted about her previous statements, Bondi tried to walk it back. She claimed she was referring to the file and all the paperwork related to Epstein, not a specific client list. But here's the problem. Her original statement was crystal clear. She was asked specifically about the list of Jeffrey Epstein's client, and she said it was on her desk for review. There's absolutely no ambiguity there. This has led to the accusations that Bondi either one, lied to the American people in February, is lying now about the evidence, which shows there is more corruption than is what they're trying to tell us there is, or she's completely incompetent and she doesn't know what document she actually has. Lauren Loomer, who has connections with the administration, has also called for Bondi's immediate resignation. She accused Bondi of lying to the American people and creating a liability for the administration. But it gets worse. In February, Bondi orchestrated a photo op where MAGA influencers walked out of the White House carrying official DOJ binders, the Epstein Files Phase 1. These binders we now know contained largely already public information, with no new revelations. Was all this just political theater? Was Bondi manipulating Trump's base for publicity, as some are now suggesting? Now, here's where the story takes a truly extraordinary turn. Some of the most prominent voices in the MAGA movement are turning against the Trump administration over this issue. And leading that charge is Alex Jones. Jones has been one of Trump's most vocal supporters. Posted a video that he has gone viral in conservative circles. In it, he literally breaks down in tears, accusing the Trump administration of participating in this cover-up.
And being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. It's because I have integrity. And, I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country, and they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out. And
yeah. So, and again, he also posted this other video and saying that, which is true, the follow-up has to happen, regardless of whoever is behind, what names are there, and whatever political fallout, whatever happens, it needs to happen, because this lack of trust is just, I think it's just really unacceptable.
move on. Never seen any evidence he's connected to Epstein. But regardless, we were told all this stuff was coming out. Now we're told it never existed, when we know a ton of stuff does exist. But I told you this wasn't just going to blow over. And the fact that they handled this way was going to create a giant Streisand effect. Well, now it has. And this morning I came out and said, looks like Bongino's going to resign. I believe he will. I think it's overall because he's got integrity. And it's not even about Trump. It's just about the way things have been handled and where this is going. Trump is doing so much good. His administration is doing so much good. Tom Homan, Robert Kennedy Jr., Maha, trying to stop the wars. It's so important. But this attempt to say, never talk about Epstein again, move along, these aren't the droids you're looking for, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, is backfiring. And now the Democrats want hearings. It's just all going completely insane. The answer to all of this is to just put the information out. The answer is to tell the truth. Let the chips fall where they may. Yes, it can kill the stock market. Yes, it's going to bring down a lot of powerful people. But those are the powerful people that set up this corrupt system. We didn't elect Trump to play half measures. We didn't elect Trump to sit there and take over the establishment. We elected him to demolish the establishment. Trump didn't save him in Butler and take him through all these crises to then just take over the establishment, try to dismantle it that way. No, we want the whole thing to come crashing down for the whole world to see as an example to future tyrants. If we don't do that, God's going to judge us, probably nuclear hellfire. That's my view on it. What do you think below?
Yeah, so I'm with him on that. So when Alex Jones is prioritizing truth over political loyalty, he's willing to criticize Trump if it means getting to the bottom of the Epstein case. Other MAGA voices are equally furious. Jack Posobiec, who received one of those DOJ binders in February, posted, "We were told more was coming. That answers were out there that we would be provided. Incredible how utterly mismanaged this Epstein mess has been." Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon spent significant time on his War Room show, questioning whether the administration is as transparent as it claims to be. This represents something we've rarely seen, a significant portion of Trump's base openly revolting against his administration's decisions. These are never Trumpers or establishment Republicans. These are Trump's most devoted supporters, saying the administration has betrayed them, and they're not wrong to be extremely happy or angry with Trump. They campaigned on releasing these files. He said he would have no problem making them public. His supporters believed him. Now they feel manipulated and lied to. Now let's step back and look at what this crisis really means for the Trump administration and the broader MAGA movement. First, this exposes fundamental divisions within this Trump's inner circle. You have law enforcement officials like Bongino and Patel who appear to genuinely want transparency. And you have political appointees like Bondi who seem more concerned with managing the narrative. Second, it raises questions about Trump's judgment and personal selection. Bondi was supposed to be a loyalist who would carry out Trump's agenda. Instead, she's become a huge liability. Who's alienating Trump's base and causing his top law enforcement officials to consider resignation? Third, and perhaps the most importantly, this could be a defining moment for the MAGA movement itself. For years, the movement has been built around the idea of fighting the deep state and exposing corruption. The Epstein case has become a symbol of that fight. If the Trump administration is seen as covering up the truth about Epstein, whether that's fair or not, it could shatter the truth that binds the movement together. How can you claim to be fighting corruption while allegedly participating in the whole entire cover-up? Alex Jones put it perfectly. This is the swamp winning. We go back to the swamp. And as he said, he wanted to drain the swamp. That's exactly how Trump supporters see the situation. The memo released by DOJ claims they found no evidence of blackmail or a client list, but here's what they did find. Over 300 gigabytes of data. Evidence that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims and thousands of videos and images of illegal child abuse material. If all that evidence exists, why is it so hard to believe there might be more? Why are Trump's own law enforcement officials reportedly frustrated how this has been handled? The administration handling of this issue is creating a incredibly huge credibility gap that have really big long-term consequences. When your own supporters are accusing you of a cover-up and you have a serious political problem. But here's the bottom line. the Trump administration is facing a credibility crisis of its own, making it, whether you believe there's an Epstein client list or not, the way this has been handled has been a complete disaster. Dan Bongino, one of Trump's most loyal supporters, is considering resignation. Kash Patel may follow him. Alex Jones is in tears, crying, accusing the administration of cover-up. Major MAGA influencers are calling for Pam Bondi to be fired. This isn't how you handle a sensitive issue when your entire political brand is built on transparency and fighting corruption. The question now is, how does Trump respond? Does he stand by Bondi and risk losing key personnel and further alienating his base, or does he make changes to restore credibility? Whatever happens next, the crisis has already damaged the administration. It's shown that even Trump's most devoted supporters have limits. When they believe the administration is participating in a cover-up, they're willing to speak out. As for Alex Jones, he said, there are no Team Truth. There's not Team Trump. And that might not be exactly what the MAGA movement wants to hear right now. That's all for today's video. I did find this one great video, and this is where, you know, I'm with, I think there's a lot of people with, I think that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are really funny.
Boys, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
So, yeah, I'm personally, I'm Team Bongino and Team Kash Patel. I really do believe that they went into this job hoping to find the truth. I thought they went into this job trying to break down the deep state. And if they're going to resign, I think overall, the public doesn't trust Pam Bondi. I think that she thinks that she's lying. I think that if Trump lets them resign and keeps Pam Bondi, it shows that he's in with the cover-up. I think if he even lets Pam Bondi go for just cosmetic, like think from the surface, we'll just get rid of her just because it looks good and it looks like I'm fighting for the truth, and keeps those two. I think that's the only way he saves face right now. But keeping Pam Bondi and letting these two walk out the door, I think is going to be the nail in the casket. And I think Elon Musk is sitting there with his American Party just waiting for the shitstorm to just turn into a cesspool. And if that's what will happen, if these two leave, he leaves Pam Bondi there. I think the Trump administration is I think that that opens up a huge door for Elon Musk to go in there with his billions and billions of dollars and just attack this. He's found a weakness, he's found a hole, and he will hammer that to no end. So anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested. You guys team Pam Bondi, team Trump, or team bad boys here, or just Team Truth? I'm with Alex Jones. Team Truth. I think everybody's on Team Truth. We just want to know the truth right now. And we want someone to be held accountable so it never happens again. I think that's the most important thing. They need to break down this deep state, because obviously children are being affected, and that should never happen. So anyways, please like, subscribe, share, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.